Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to my office hours here. I'm Jay Faulkner. I'm here going to be working and talking about some of my ironic open source work here. As always, this is brought to you by G Research. I'm very appreciative that they give me the opportunity to talk about what I'm doing and work on open source software. So let's get started doing that. As always, if you'd like to interact with me, feel free to use that YouTube chat right there. I'm also in IRC in various places, but if you want to engage in the YouTube chat, that'd be great, and we'll talk. You got codes you want reviewed or something you want to look at or whatever. But for now, let's get going our um, on our work. So so to sort of cover what I've been working on last time, and I've made a little bit of progress since our last session here, is we were working on getting the database layer and objects for shards done. And we've got that. We've already got a preliminary +1. Obviously, none of this can actually land until the spec lands, which there's still some discussion back and forth. This kind of hopeful coding, as in like I hope that someone doesn't come make all this work obsolete. But I think we have enough of a consensus that that it'll work out. So you can see we've got all the code here done, though. We've got the test done, got the objects written. Great. So we have basically what this means is that if you're running Ironic with this patch, your database would get the shards table. Your node object and I mean the node table in your database is going to have the shard key on it, and we sort of have the preliminary pieces in place to access that information in the way that the API would need. So this, from the perspective of an API user, is going to be a read-only field, and we're going to be working on the writes today. So basically, what we're looking at is we're going to have this endpoint get v1/shards. If you get v1/shards, it's going to return to you a table that's going to have some useful information for knowing if your shards are well spread out or not. You're going to have your shard key. You're going to have the count of the total nodes in that shard key, as well as the last time that was updated. That's what's going to be returned via the API. So what we have to do is populate that information. It's unreasonable on every request to go do a query that essentially is going to have to scan every row of the nodes table. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to write a periodic task. Periodic task is an OpenStack concept. It comes from some Oslo library. It's probably like Oslo periodic task or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. But it provides the ability to do these periodic tasks, which are kind of like cron jobs. You can say this needs to run so often, don't let two of them run at the same time, that sort of thing. So we're going to add this periodic task. It's going to do the expensive query to scan the nodes table, group it by shard key, and then we can use that to kind of count up and put that information in the database. Okay, Futurist library. It used to be in Oslo, didn't it? Where's Futurist and Oslo library? I don't know. I honestly haven't. I'm trying to think. Last time I wrote a periodic task had to have been before agent code was even upstream. Like I've obviously reviewed quite a bit of this. I've tweaked them, but last time I wrote an actual periodic task was, we're talking like 7 or 8 years ago. So any of the knowledge I have is dead, but that's fine, so we're going to figure it out together here. So that's kind of where we're at. We've got this, and we're working on the next patch in the series. So as always, I like to look for other examples. So I'm going to come here in my IDE. I'm just going to look and see if there's other code that is that has periodic going on, and we do. Hey, look at that. Futurist.periodic. Okay. So let's go find this. Let's go find this ironic conductor periodics. That looks like it could be interesting. Hey, it is interesting. Ironic conductor periodics. It's almost like it's exactly what I need. Okay. Decorator to define a periodic task. Decorator to define a periodic task to act on nodes. Okay. I'm not going to want that. I'm going to want the regular type. So I need to see where this decorator's been used, and I can find other example periodic tasks I can follow that. So I'm gonna find some usages here. Oh, and there's a bunch of them. Oh boy. Okay, we'll do this. Let me see. Interval. If it has a timeout. This is tell nodes that are in a specified state. Varied over nodes mapped as conductor. Yeah, that's actually interesting. So conductor periodic tasks generally are only going to operate against nodes that that conductor has access to, right? So isn't this going to be kind of weird? It's going to kind of break our stuff a little bit that we're going to need to look at the entire database and not just the nodes that are currently under the control of this conductor. I mean, it'll probably be weird, but it doesn't really matter. I don't even think it needs to be like not I don't want fancy is the wrong word because this isn't fancy per se, but a lot of these are involved. And this is kind of one of those things where, especially given the move to do less magic in SQL Alchemy and in the ORM layer, I'm kind of tempted to that this is just going to call the DB API. Yeah. So, I'm actually going to make some notes here. Let's, okay, all of these are almost certainly going to be on the manager. They are. So, all right. So, I want to take some notes. Let's just get a gedit up so I can put some notes here. So, usual periodic task only operate on nodes the conductor controls. So we'll have to make sure, like, have some logic in the task. Only run if updated at is earlier than expected. But the problem is that this is still, we still don't want, we're still going to need some kind of lock, but we don't have a way to get a generic lock that's not node faced because otherwise there's no way for me to prevent other conductors for running this same task. So, like, how do I prevent this race condition? Um, so I'm sure that's a problem that we'll have a solution to at some point. Right now, I'm kind of gonna punt it because um, my goal here is to make sure. Well, so Julia, you said a DB transaction, but that's still not going to prevent us from having in conductors performing inexpensive queries against the nodes table. That's the problem with that. Is that I'm not worried that they're going to step on each other in a data perspective. I'm worried that we're going to end up having every conductor in the cluster running a really expensive query unless we lock one or the other out. Just so it's not going to be a long, expensive call. I don't understand the deadlock though, like because I hope it's not expensive, but I guess it won't be expensive. But yeah, if it's not expensive, does it even matter? Well, no, I was thinking it's going to look something more like select count star, comma shard key from nodes, um, group by shard key. And I love how I capitalized the only word that probably shouldn't have been capitalized in that whole thing. So this should give us the counts of all the nodes. Um, with their shard key. Really, all the information we need is the results of this query. I guess if shard key is index, that should be quick. So okay. So maybe I just don't care because the field is index. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't understand what other way you would do this. Would you literally do the counting in Python instead of letting the database do it? The group by is supported in SQLite, isn't it? It's got to be. Yes, I'm operating under the assumption it is. Because if it's not, that would be sad, and I don't want to be sad. Let's see. Okay, so let's find. Gosh, these are okay. I'm just gonna steal this just to get the boilerplate. I don't know what button I keep pressing. Open annotations. I should figure that out. Okay, yeah. Count nodes per shard. I guess this should be configurable. Oh. Oh, I think I want splay for that, won't I? Oh, that's okay. Now that I actually have a method here, though, I can start making my to-do list, which is important. Test and fully understand behavior with greater than one conductor. Ensure any failure cases shake out kindly. That's vague intentionally. Add a splay to runtime of the periodic task. Could be an extremely aggressively large splay to avoid performance hits from that. Okay. Those are writing the stuff down. Oh, I need to also go implement this. So I'm going to put go implement these comp values. Because they need to exist, too, if I'm referencing these. So, all right, got that written down. So now let's keep on going down, update these. Count nodes per shard. Periodically caches. Count of nodes assigned to each shard. Is that too long? I think that's fine. Count of nodes with a given shard key is more direct and accurate. I'm still less than 8, so that's probably good. Periodically caches the count of nodes with a given shard key. This information is put. Oh no! You gotta be like tapping at 80 here. Information will be and cache. Yeah, I like this. And cache it in the shards table for quick API access. Okay. Don't care about pretty much any of this existing code. Okay. So I've got this. It's here. It exists. I'm going to go implement that config real quick before I forget it, because that's going to like straight up break the world. if I don't have that set. So let's go ahead and get that set. Let's get a decent default set on it. What is that? That is 6. That's every 8. Hold on, wait. I gotta know if this is seconds or minutes or what. One of the other intervals probably says it, I hope. In seconds. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, so 3600 seconds is 60 minutes, which is once an hour, which is probably good enough. Um I'll take that as a default. I really don't want to have to think about this that much anymore. Just get the stuff in here and keep going. Yeah, I got them lined up. Conductor will cache cache a count of nodes with a given shard key. Information what populate information turn it one shards. I feel like that is not the best help ever. It's a little bit heavy on the on the technical in that, but I kind of call it good enough. That's the sort of thing I always rely on review to help with stuff like that, even if it's just like me reviewing it the next day. Never quite in the right mind to write that good doc when I'm trying to figure out the problem. Okay. So I need to add, I think, let's see, most of these are going to be talking to the DB API directly. Okay. So next, I'm actually going to put this in here. Okay. So we're going to say call new DB API method to count shards, e.g., the equivalent of this. Truncate yeah, call new DB API method to replace contents of shards table with information from there. I don't really know if those need to be two methods, but I kind of feel like they should. I don't. Yeah. I think that's what I want because I don't necessarily want to have that table. Yeah. Okay. I think this is the right thing. 2DB API methods, and that's basically done. The other thing I'll need to do is, so because this periodic task is not oriented to only count nodes managed by this conductor, first do a get of the shards table and see if updated at is old enough to warrant another update. Thanks for that confirmation. So this is basically going to be 3 methods. We're going to say, like, we're going to call, actually, hey, look, this method actually exists. That's not it. there not? I thought I saw someone reference the self.db API. Maybe just the IDE doesn't understand it because of the level of misdirection going on. Wait, no, I'm not in the class. Oh, yeah, yeah, that probably helps. If I want to use a class method, I should probably be actually in the conductor manager, huh? That might help. It's kind of weird that this one isn't in the conductor manager, actually. I feel like there might be some sort of distinction here that I don't know that I should be aware of. But instead of worrying about that, I'm just going to keep going and hope I run into it or someone screams at me loudly. It just seems weird that I don't understand why the methods at the bottom of this file are not in conductor manager. But I definitely need to be in conductor manager, so I'm fine with this. So dot get. It's not shard counts. That's not what I called it, is it? If so, that was a stupid name, and I apologize for naming it something stupid. Where am I looking? Okay, API pod. Okay, so we would do something like existing shards are that, and we'd say something like if not existing shards, because I explicitly want to catch empty, or existing shards 0 dot updated at is not new enough. That's actually that's not accurate, but it's the gist of what I wanted to do. So this is going to be a time. So I'm going to have like a date time field coming back. Is that accurate? Oh, I always get really suspicious when GitHub Copilot suggests code and I think it works. If the shards table has not yet been populated or it's been updated within the last interval period, within hold on, I gotta hold on. I have to go into my settings and make this line be at 80 or else I am going to be too long all over the place. Oh, I can do multiple? Oh, snap. That's really nice. There's no way this is right. But it's okay. I'll figure it out. It'll blow up when I test it if it's not right. Shard table's not been populated. Yeah. I need to mark this. Shard table's not yet been populated. Or it's been populated within seconds. You should update the shard counts. Otherwise, another conductor has already updated it recently. And we should not update it again. not existing shards, or it's updated out, then this will be the work. So I kind of maybe want to negate this whole thing. I need to reverse this comment. Shards enable is populated, and the last update was more than, well, second ago, then we should update the shard count. Then we should not update the shard counts. Another conductor has already updated it recently. Okay. So there's that. We've got the yeah, I don't need paths there anymore. That would be a return. So okay. So periodic doesn't run in that case. Now I need to create that new DB API method. Now I'm ready for that. Okay. Good stuff. DB. Oh, I got to add the API first. Let's move this over here so that I can see both at the same time. It's going to be pretty easy. It's going to be a def of get shard count from node. Count the number of nodes with a given shard key. Dictionary with shard key as key and number of nodes as value. That's exactly what I was going to write. Oh, it's uncanny. It really spooks me when it's like it pulls it from my brain, but it's nice because I sometimes get distracted or like I don't know, it almost feels like some sort of like mental stutter when I'm trying to do stuff like this, and having GitHub Copilot suggest the correct thing kind of can knock me out of it. So this is going to be get shard count from nodes. Actually, probably shouldn't even be done. Well, I'm not going to erase something that's not in this batch, but that probably doesn't even need to be docstringed because it's docstringed in the API. Well, now it is, so. Oh well. Okay, so with session for read as session, result equals session dot execute. I know how to write this in text, but I don't know if you're still listening, Julia. Like, is it okay for me just to use SQLAlchemy.txt here? Like, I feel like I should translate it into like SQL Alchemy speak, but realistically, I don't. I guess I should because then I don't want to assume that syntax is always the same between all our backends forever. That could be sort of a foot gun for someone. Okay, well then I'm gonna do it that way then because that's gonna be way easier. Yeah, I've got a good example of that because I can go right here and look at what I'm using to populate for the test. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought about it that way. That's exactly right, though. I think you're dead on. Oh, C clock me is here, as I say. Okay, well, of course. I should have known that. That was stupid that I didn't know that because it had sa.select there already, but that's fine. This is going to be where's my query? Oh, I put it over here, didn't I? I did. Right. I'll make sure that's using the index before I call this done. Um, I honestly am not even sure what that's going to return me. In closing quote. Oh, well, hey, it ain't going to return me nothing until I get the closing quote. Yes, change dialect to. I just want this to always assume I'm using MySQL. I know that's not always true, but most of the stuff I'm writing will be MySQL adjacent. Okay, that gets me a shard key from nodes. Like I said, I'm not really sure what type that's going to give me, but I'll figure it out. Look, tell me maybe. Any. Okay, good. I've actually wondered, has anyone thought about putting type hints in ironic code or OpenStack at all in general? Because now that it's in the what's the word I'm looking for? Now that it's in mainline Python, it feels like something that would be nice to have, but I know people feel strongly one way or the other about that often. Okay. So now we'll say new count is self.dbapi.count nodes per shard. Replace shards table self with session or write don't think I should do this one in pure text. That is what I want. No, no, that's not what I want. Nice try. I want to make sure that this is begin. What do I want the input to this method to be? I think I might just want pass a dict here. I might just want Although I need to document here, which I'll do real quick so I can write a doc string for it. Shard count is a dictionary with shard key as key and number of nodes as value. You know me so well, it's almost like you were expecting me to say the same thing I just said, because that's what I did. And it doesn't return nothing. I think, right now at least. So I will say I'm not gonna do this in the secure way to start with, so like nobody panic. I know I will have more work to do here. Why am I writing that in Python? There we go. For shard key count in shard count dot items. What was that? That was what I wanted. I wonder if that could be made even more efficient somehow. Like, I probably would this work? So I'm gonna call this theoretically this will work. I don't actually think it's gonna work for reasons. I'm but I should be able to use unit tests to exercise it now to get the typing right and stuff like this. So now I'm gonna go write a test for it real quick. I don't even know if this will compile right now is my only problem, so I got to be careful about that. Oh, I was actually in manager doc. Then this will be like self.dbapi.replace shards table with the new count. Then I don't need to commit either, then do I? Because it's got to implicitly commit when I leave the context manager, right? If you implicitly begin, there has to be an implicit commit somewhere, right? I'm going to assume that it happens when I exit the context manager then. And that just putting them both in the same context manager should be enough to ensure that they all execute in the same transaction. Okay, so yeah, I am kind of happy with this because I think this is the safe way to do that too with the colons. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with this. So let's go look at writing the test for it then. why do I need to commit? Can you explain to me how it knows where I want the transaction to begin? Like, you've completely flummoxed me, because if it's automatically putting these in a transaction, it's really messing with my head that it knows to group them together. If I don't have to begin, but I have to commit, does that mean this needs a commit and doesn't have it? Well, I guess it's a read. I guess everything I've done up to this point's been a read. So maybe that's the difference. Hey, Kuba, thanks for stopping by. So I don't understand that. I kind of want to understand that, but it wouldn't be the first time something SQL Alchemy does that didn't make sense at first glance, so I'm not going to sweat it too much. No, I don't have to do this. There's already like a DB utils. Um, I know what I want. It's just use a string. Just use a. I always forget the format. Yeah, show me an F string. Yeah, format is not. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I just get it for free. Let's say name equals node I. Put an F at the beginning of it, and it's all just going to work. All right, so I have that creating my first shard. Don't really think I need 4. I'll do 2 there. I'll do a node. Um, how about that? That's better. And then I'm going to create one that has null for shard. And that's going to be my test data. And now I'm going to test Go in there, please. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even see that comment. So always makes me feel good when I'm thinking the same thing as another smart person without like we're just on the same wavelength. Okay, that's good stuff. So we're gonna get shard count from nodes self. This probably also needs to like return kind of what we expect here, right? Yeah, test one would be 2, test 2 would be 1, and null is 1. Oh man, my AI buddy. GitHub Copilot is sometimes it's so smart and sometimes it's so dumb. Like a cute little puppy assistant programmer. All right, so I'm not gonna docstring this. Let's just do it. So now I'm gonna say expected dict is literally the return I'm getting from create test sharded nodes, and I can literally just say self dot assert equal that exactly, and I have no expectations that this is gonna work, but let's see, just because it's fun. All right. I'm just gonna run the full test suite first to make sure I didn't break anything. Time is it? Oh man, I've been working on this for 45 minutes already. I swear, I feel like I've gotten more done in the office hours than I have the rest of the day combined. It's been a tough day. So it's nice to be able to get progress on this, and I kind of feel like it's really close. It's not hard. Like I didn't have a good sense of how difficult this would be, and it appears to be extremely simple, which is nice. Um, Maybe I should not say that until after my initial test, like, doesn't radically go kaboom for no good reason. All right. All right, come on, keep going. You can do it. There's no way this is just gonna work, right? One of the reasons this isn't gonna work is because that expected dict is not gonna have all the keys that I'm gonna get back in the database. I bet. Oh no, because I'm not calling. I'm not yet. This could work. I'd be surprised because I don't think I'm getting a dict-like object back from SQL Alchemy. But like, I'm just never sure until I run the tests, unless it's something I'm already super familiar with. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's a trick with Python or maybe it exposes the weakness of Python with no type hints, but like trying to keep all that stuff in your brain is crazy. You just got to plug up the tests as soon as possible so that you can see if inputs or outputs are not what you're expecting. That's actually how I wrote so much of that hardware manager code in IPA back in the day. Is I'd literally run the tools. So like if I the one for gathering smart data, I just took the smart cuddle output, plugged it directly into a test mock, and just kept writing until it was parsed properly. Um, a node with this U it already exists. Um, this was in yeah okay. So I gotta patch UIDs to this, which seems kind of crazy. Like I would have assumed that this would have happily created UIDs for you. Oh, nope. Same UID. Okay, so I got to generate UIDs for each of these. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't have expected that, but that's fine. Not a big deal. I can make that work. Are you saying that like... Yeah, okay. I didn't know if that was like tautological, like by convention you should not make these random. I think Flake 8's going to hate that, because I think it's supposed to be in a third separate section. I think no, no, because this is built in. It's not an external library, so I think it goes up there. But I'm not 100%. I guess I'll see. I got robots to worry about style for me, so I don't have to. That's what's angry at. I mean, thinking about it in depth, it makes a lot of sense why it's structured that way. It's just not necessarily what I expected. Now, instead of running all the tests, we're just going to run the failing one. Well, I'm just going to actually just run the whole file so that I can just keep running this command after. All right, test shard. It's a testament to Linux scheduling that I am beating up my CPU in like 3 different programs at the same time, and it's not too bad. Oh, wait, it failed. That's not bad. That's not really a bad return at all. How much should I worry about performance here? Like, it makes me wonder if I should make everything expect this format, or if I should expand that out into a dict into the DB table. I kind of feel like the less string manipulation I do here, the better. So there's going to be a list of tuples containing count, comma, shard key. And now this test will pass. Again, I'm not going to pretend like this is exactly the right way to do it. I honestly don't know. But when in doubt, I'm not going to make it look pretty to me as the programmer just for the hell of it when I can potentially make things more simple here. Interesting. Did I do this correctly? Oh, I bet I know what's happening. That's what I thought. Okay. Who would have thought an off by one error in my code? Never. Huzzah! Okay, so now I need to make this want them in the correct order. So I'm going to give this count and then shard key, count and then shard key, and I think I can just feed one into the other. So now I don't actually know if this is so I don't actually know if I'm going to keep this as a test, but this is the test I want to do. So I'm going to say self.create test sharded nodes expected dict is self.create test sharded node. Well, let's not call that dict. It's not a dict anymore. Expected. And then I'm going to say self.dbapi. No, that's not the name of the test. You're trying. You're trying. Thanks for trying, AI puppy, but you're not quite there. Yes. Place shards. Table. Again, you're so close. Nice try. Oh no, that's not what I want. There, is it? Yeah, it is actually. Test, replace shards. And now I need to say get shardless. Um, oh, look at you. You go from being super stupid to being super smart in like 3 lines of code here. I really like GitHub Copilot. I tried so hard to like make myself hate it, but it does a good job. It does a really good job. It is like I described it to people, it's like having a really, really stupid person offer to type in your code for you. And like sometimes you're just like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Oh, you cannot truncate in SQLite. I guess I could do something like that. That seems, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what my brain is saying right now. That's not the right path to go. Huh. Ponder, ponder, ponder. I mean, is there a way for me to get? Oh, I don't know if that's the right thing or not. Tell me what I have on. Do I know what engine? I mean, right, fine. I gotta be careful with trying to time the the chat to what I'm saying because I think y'all are a good 2 minutes behind on video or something to that effect. So I think there's something off about that. Like I'm calling execute and it calls query in the other one in the example. But I'm just gonna assume that's like a different SQL Alchemy version. Oh nope, kaboom. Yeah, okay, it does want query. Got it. So that's looking for like a more query is like use the ORM. Execute is like do exactly what I tell you, probably. Session.query is what I'm not supposed to use though, isn't it? What the hell? What the hell? What the literally it's just sa.delete. It actually wants the table value. Wants like that's probably what I want. That pass. I really love to get these tests passing before I'm done, even though I'm over time. There's a none in this, which kind of makes sense as to why I'm getting the error, but that would indicate that it's like flipping. This wants, okay, this is what's wrong with it. Okay, I got it. I got it here. I shouldn't, don't even try to be fancy, Jay. That's your problem, is that this is expecting a dict and it's not getting one. I think that might be what it needs. As soon as I get this test passing, I'm almost certainly going to be done with my office hours for the day. I appreciate you stopping by. I've definitely gotten more done than I would have otherwise. Okay. Not null constraint failed. Shards.shard key. I'm going to have to say, okay, so I'm going to have to say, yeah, okay, got it. So I'm going to have to say if, I'm going to have to say if not shard key, I'll say shard key is shard 1. If not shard key is literally a string of none or null. Probably none. I'm gonna put null. I don't know. I don't know what's best there, but I'm gonna do it that way because I'm doing it that way. I'm gonna get the test to pass. This is gonna fail now. So I have to say, I don't know how I'm gonna make that happy. If I get to the point where that assert is failing in the way I think it's gonna fail, I'm gonna call it done. Or done enough. I mean, that's definitely significant progress. The periodic will be mostly done. Okay. What's the error this time? No transaction is begun. Aha! Aha! You have misled me. I must begin. Okay, so I must just need to completely drop this commit then. Okay. So this test is effectively passing. The only reason it's not passing is because of the string change, which is just going to be an edit I'll have to make to this test. I'll put a to-do here so I'll know it for tomorrow. This is failing because none is not equal to a string of null. Fix it tomorrow. Okay. So I always make sure that I commit my code at the end of the day. It'll be here safe on my system, of course, but implement periodic task for populating shards table. How about we just do a TV? All right, you have a good night. I'm going to be having a good night as soon as I get this pasted. All right, this is gonna. So one of the weird things about Garrett, and this is kind of freaky to people who are more used to a GitHub based workflow. Each commit represents its own merge request. So what I've done here, when you saw this question here about it saying, should I push both these outstanding commits? That's because Garrett is warning me that I'm updating 2 merge requests with this. My original one, and then the patch I just put on top of it. And so what we're going to do is we have this over here, the patch that I had up already. I'm going to just hit refresh on it, and what you're going to see is that now there's going to be a new section on this relation chain. And you can see now the patch I just pushed up is in that relation chain, and it's there. And it'll be waiting for me tomorrow when I pick back up on this work. Thanks so much, particularly to Julia and Jacob, for tuning in and interacting here. If you're watching after the fact on the video, thanks for watching. Again, I just wanted to say a thank you to my employer, G Research, who enables me to do these things as part of their open source software lab. Not just to contribute to open source, but to share the knowledge with others. And I mean, I say that like I'm like granting knowledge from on high or something, when in reality, I'm basically pair programming with Julia in chat here. But that's what we like to do. I mean, that's how we figure stuff out. That's how we get stuff done, is by working together in cooperation. G Research encourages me to do that, and so think nicely of them, and please review our pull requests. That's I'd say y'all have a good night, and I will be streaming next Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. You can check j.jvf.cc/office-hours altogether if you need to know what that is in UTC. I don't